Hey all, Bree from the No Guilt Mom podcast, and I have got a gift for you this holiday season. If you love the No Guilt Mom podcast, and I mean love the No Guilt Mom podcast, then tell us about it. Leave us a review, and you can be entered to win a No Guilt Mom gift card. All you have to do is leave a review, take a screenshot, and then simply go to noguiltmom.com/review to enter our giveaway for a free No Guilt Mom gift card, simply for telling us what you think about the podcast. It is amazing. But don't delay. Get right on this, as we're going to be giving away that No Guilt Mom gift card on December 21st. So get right on over and visit noguiltmom.com/review.
Welcome to the No Guilt Mom podcast. I am your host, Joanne Crone, joined here by my co-host, Bree Tucker.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
So today we're in the thick of it right now in January, going back to school and homework.
I know, right? It was a nice couple of weeks when there was no schoolwork.
Yeah.
Now it's like, in our household, my kids pretty much maintain their own schedule. And also being in a divorced household, so like, you know, we have that they're with me one week and they're with their dad one week.
Mm-hmm.
I always just have to trust that they're doing it, but I get that anxiety all the time that, okay, hopefully we're getting our homework done.
Yeah, like I don't even check on my kids if they're doing their homework. Because, you know, we're in a good routine. And one of the things that No Guilt Mom teaches is we teach kids how to do homework. And so if I and my family, I didn't practice what I preach, I think I'd be a hypocrite there if I didn't say that homework was not, like, it's not a struggle in our house. We have our times. I mean, you've seen it during virtual learning. There are times where, you know, either kids are too hungry or there's a lot of frustration revolving around like some subject, especially during virtual learning with technology. Like there's some technology issue usually with my son's computer.
Oh, yeah.
And it's full-blown fire kitty.
Oh, yeah. IT problems are a huge issue there. But I mean, like, and I'm even thinking back to like when because again, disclaimer, my kids are in middle school. So their need for help from me is a lot less than it was when they were younger.
Yeah.
But it was so much work. Like I posted a meme on the No Guilt Mom page over the weekend about just like the frustration and trying to keep them focused on schoolwork. And oh my goodness, I remember those days. They are so strong in your memory, especially with elementary schoolers. And I have never experienced that for the most part. Oh goodness, God bless you.
It's not, and I have to say, like, it's not my kids at all. It's just that I think it's a different mindset when it comes to homework, especially on the part of the parents. And it's something that I can, like, if you right now are struggling with keeping your kids focused during homework, this episode is for you, because we are going to shift your mindset about what you can expect from your kids' homework routine and how you can take that pressure off yourself and put it back on your kids where it belongs. So this is a phenomenal episode, and we cannot wait to share these tips with you. This is brought to you by our online parent event, Homework Simplified. So if you feel like it's only you trying to get your kid to focus and you are fighting every day about homework, come and join Homework Simplified. It's our free online parent event where you'll meet other parents, and me and Bree, walk you through our proven strategies to simplify your homework routine. It starts for reals on January 25th, but you can sign up anytime you like at noguiltmom.com/homework-simplified. And there's a link in our show notes.
You want mom life to be easier. That's our goal too. Our mission is to raise more self-sufficient and independent kids, and we're going to have fun doing it. We're going to help you delegate and step back. Each episode will tackle strategies for positive discipline, making our kids more responsible and making our lives better in the process. Welcome to the No Guilt Mom podcast.
So, Bree, okay, that meme you posted on noguiltmom.com, the Facebook page about homework and getting kids to focus. It was like, describe that for us. Describe the comic.
So it was basically the kid saying, oh, I don't like schoolwork. This is so hard. And the parent goes, if you would just focus for a little bit, we could be done in 10 minutes. And then the next slide is like 2 unfocused hours later. The child's going, I hate life. And the parent's like, yeah, join the freaking club, kid.
I think that's so like that. It's such a good example of what's happening everywhere in households. Like,
yeah. And
I think every parent can definitely empathize with that.
Right. And reflecting back on it, I totally remember and again, that was me when my kids were younger. My kids are 1 year apart. So they're 1 year apart in school, which means I was doing a lot of the heavy lifting, and it was only me doing homework at home after school. My husband wasn't around at that time. And I felt like it was all on me, that it was all my responsibility to make sure that they got it done. And so if they weren't focusing, if they weren't getting it done, I was like, come on. Tension back over here.
And that's what I feel a lot of parents are at. Like, that's where they are right now. That the focus is like all on you. You feel like it is your job to get the homework done and nobody else's. But we're going to shift that around a little bit, and we're going to tweak that, because that was me as well. Right when my daughter started kindergarten, and I had just had my son, like he was born a week before the new kindergarten school year started.
I remember this.
Yeah, he was born a week. Like I had him via C-section, and I remember like my daughter was starting school, and me having been a teacher, I'm like, I want to go to meet the teacher. So I had like these stitches and scars in my belly from the procedure, and
you're walking nice and slowly, I'm sure. Like
I insisted on going to meet, and like he was strapped to my chest. It was like 115 degrees outside. I was sweating, but I'm like, I'm gonna be there. And then my daughter brought her first homework packet home, and it was just tears. Like I remember her just crying about it, and she was so tired from school, and me trying to refocus her, like it was not working.
Well, okay, and I'm just going to add in this for all of us moms out there. We get this, trying to do this right after having another baby, and you have no sleep and no energy.
There was no sleep.
Oh my
there was
Lord.
No sleep, no energy, and homework. And then my daughter was like flinging herself on the couch and being like, I'm so stupid, I can't get this. And so then your heart drops even more as a parent.
Right.
And you're like, curse this to homework. This shouldn't be mandatory for kids. I mean, like all the thoughts were going through my head, and I had just finished my year as a 5th grade teacher, and I had taken that year off. And I thought to myself, I'm like, why is this so hard? Like, I am a teacher. I never went through this with my students in the classroom. Why is this happening here in my home? And so I really had to think, I'm like, well, how do I motivate kids in the classroom? And how does all of that happen? And so I took those things and I took those steps. And first of all, when you have 30 kids in a classroom, you cannot sit individually with each of them, getting them to focus.
Oh, yeah.
It's an impossibility.
Well, and I'm going to say, even if you have 2 kids that are trying to do their homework at the same time, you cannot give the individual attention to each child. You are only one person.
Yeah, you are only one person. And we hear a lot of stories from families who have like 3 or 4 kids. And it's just a hair-pulling experience trying to get each of them focused on different amounts of homework, all at different levels of like independence from the kids. And it's maddening, and just thinking about it like sends my anxiety levels soaring.
I'm laughing because it reminds me of that, what is it, a nursery rhyme about the little Dutch boy who had to put his finger to plug the dam. Like, as soon as you get your finger over one hole where the water is squirting out, then another one starts. So then you put your other finger there, and then another one starts, and then you put your foot here, and it's like by the end, you're, like you said, you're pulling your hair out.
That's how it is.
It never gets better.
And meanwhile, you're trying to juggle your own work. You are trying to probably cook dinner for the family too. If you're the parent helping in the afternoon during homework, you're probably also the parent responsible for dinner.
Right.
All of these things, and it just becomes so much and so stressful. And homework just becomes this miserable experience for everybody. And so I'm going to stop right there, because I really, really want to like hammer this point home. Homework doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't. And Bree's smiling at me, and she's like, it does not have to be that way. You do not have to put yourself through this. And the answer is not totally forgetting all the homework your kids have to do, or taking them out of school and homeschooling them. Side note, if you've always wanted to homeschool your kids, then yes, totally homeschool your kids, but do not feel like you have to take this misery of homework away.
Right. I think that that's one of those
Yeah.
kind of overcorrections. In some cases, I feel like sometimes we feel like as parents, we have to control this
Yes.
because it's our, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean it in a like, okay, I'm the adult. I have to be in charge of this. I have to help control it. And sometimes that pendulum swings. We just think to ourselves, okay, so since I can't control what the school's doing in terms of homework, I'm just going to take over the whole learning process.
Yeah.
And I think that it's possible that some people have jumped into that and then been like, what in the world did I get myself into?
Homeschooling's hard. Like
Yeah.
homeschooling's hard.
That's not an easy feat, I don't think.
I would never want to homeschool my kids. I know that I am not cut out for it. I could teach 30 kids in a classroom, but I cannot homeschool my own children.
Well, and again, we're not saying that that's not the right thing for some people,
No.
but it is. But sometimes that can be our overcorrection thought of like, I'll just do it myself and it'll be so much easier.
Yes. It's more of a, if you feel forced into homeschooling and it's not like a choice that you have
Right.
made intentionally, that's what we're examining right here.
Hey all, Bree here, and I wanted to share one of my favorite gifts to give during the holiday season, a Storyworth book. It is the most amazing gift ever. Storyworth is an online service that lets you create a special and unique gift of someone's story. I've given Storyworth books to both of my parents, and it has been their favorite gift, hands down. And did I mention it is so easy? Storyworth emailed my parents questions every week that I handpicked from their massive list of questions that they have. All my parents had to do was open their email and answer them. That easy. I asked my dad questions like, did you have any rules that you set for yourself as a parent, which you immediately broke? And he did. I even asked both of my parents, are you more like your mom or your dad? And they shared a lot of really amazing qualities that I didn't know about my grandparents at the time. Then at the end of the year, Storyworth compiles all of their answers, puts them into this gorgeous book that covers everything. My parents love showing us their books, and I personally love getting a chance to read them. With Storyworth, I am giving those I love a thoughtful and personal gift from the heart that preserves their memories and stories for years to come. Go to storyworth.com/NGM and save $10 on your first purchase. That's storyworth.com/NGM to save $10 on your first purchase.
This message is sponsored by Greenlight. It is so hard to raise kids who know how to manage money. Bree, right now, my kids are all about earning money for presents. My daughter wants to get presents for all of her friends, and my son is doing a Secret Santa with his friends.
Oh, I hear you. And if you're looking to raise kids that are financially responsible, we have got a lifesaver recommendation for you that you need to check out. It is Greenlight. Greenlight is a debit card and money app made for families that gives kids and teens an easy and fun way to gain financial literacy, all while giving parents peace of mind.
You can send instant money transfers, automate allowance, and even keep an eye on kids' spending with real-time notifications. Meanwhile, your kids can begin their journey towards financial autonomy by learning how to save, invest, and spend wisely.
So sign up for Greenlight today and get your first month free when you go to greenlight.com/NGM.
That's greenlight.com/NGM to try Greenlight for free. Greenlight.com/NGM.
Some things that we have heard about homework, sometimes our kids worked through the tears and they were tired because there was so much homework. They had no time to play, no time to relax their minds of school stuff, which I could say I totally thought too when I saw my daughter struggling through kindergarten homework. And also, again and again, parents are saying that kids cannot literally not focus without constant supervision.
Right, which is not what it's supposed to be like.
It's not what it's supposed to be like. So here are the 3 things to expect from your kid's homework routine. And usually, if you're having a really, really hard time with the homework routine, it's one of these 3 areas that if you just focus in on and work on improving that, you're going to see the whole thing improve.
All right, let's roll this out, man.
So as a broad overview, we're going to be talking about mindset, organization, and motivation.
Yes. And I'm just going to say that first one, mindset, I think was my problem when my kids were younger.
So mindset is so key. I mean, it sounds like this kind of floofy kind of area, but usually when your mindset is right, the rest of your life falls into place.
That's very true.
Because one of the mistakes we make as parents is we think that we have to take on everything. And in doing so, we don't put any responsibility on our children.
Well, I think part of that is a little bit of a societal expectation discipline these days. When your child misbehaves or when if they are not doing well at school, we feel judged.
We do.
We
yes.
feel like people are going, well, that parent's not a good parent. You know, that parent's not doing a good job because their child is misbehaving. That parent's not doing a good job because their child is getting C or gosh, even sometimes a B in math. What would people think? Oh my goodness. And
yeah,
no.
So I like hear those and I'm like, other people's opinions, throw them away.
Right. But it has an impact on mindset, doesn't it?
Sometimes it does have an impact on mindset if you let it. If you let it have an impact on mindset. Know that you are totally in control of whether you take in other people's opinions or not. Usually when the only thing that has kind of like fortified me against other people's opinions is all of this background research and motivation mindset and how kids need to take responsibility to be self-motivated, and also how parents who take over too much, their kids end up not being really great functioning adults because they don't know how to survive in the real world.
Because they're used to mom and dad taking care of it.
Yeah.
Okay, now I have to say, like, when you said the background, like knowing all this background research,
Yeah.
that little star from like NBC back in the day, the more you know.
I'd always play it after Saved by the Bell. And what was that other one? It was like California something. What was that show called? California Dreams or California? It was something.
I don't, but I just remember it being on Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
The more you know.
The more you know. Yes.
So anyway, but you're right, 100%. So I got stuck in that mindset when my kids were younger, that I had to be in control of what was going on. I had to manage it because they weren't able to do it on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened was I wasn't supporting my kids and teaching them those life skills. So,
yeah. And I think also like from my teaching background, I know in the classroom, like I have seen so many different personalities of kids and worked with so many different personalities of kids that I know it's the kid and it's not the parent, because I could have siblings go through my class and they would be totally different from one another. Same home environment.
And those were mine.
Totally different.
Right.
So at that point, it's like, it is not parenting here. It is just this kid's individual personality. We work with that and we improve from there. So mindset is so important, especially when it comes to your kids. Your kids need to have a good mindset. There are two kinds of mindsets talked about by Dr. Carol Dweck, who's kind of the founder of this theory. It's the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset.
And if you listen to No Guilt Mom,
You've heard it a lot.
Read any of our stuff, you know we talk a lot about this. This is a proven theory, growth mindset versus fixed.
So fixed mindset is the belief that you are smart as you are ever going to be. And this is what really gets kids. When they run into like a struggle in their homework or a struggle anytime in their lives, if they are breaking down and crying and just cannot go on, they probably have a fixed mindset.
Right. And you hear it. These are the times that you hear your kids say, I'm just not good at math.
Yeah.
I just don't know math.
I'm just stupid. I'm stupid. I can't figure this out. That's the fixed mindset talking. Now, the good news is that you're not born or stuck with the same mindset your entire life. You can change it. And the one way you can change it is just knowing that the other one exists and it's a thing. So you could teach your kids about the growth mindset. You could teach yourself about the growth mindset. And all that is thinking of the mind like a muscle. The more it's challenged, the stronger it gets and the more it learns. So when we look at problems from the growth mindset, we're like, oh, this is a problem I can't do yet. And that's the important word, yet.
That should be the motto. I can't do it yet.
Yet. I can't do it yet. I can't finish this yet. But you know what? If I work at it, I'm going to get it. And that's the growth mindset.
And I think even as a parent, us putting that into our vocabulary more often.
Yeah.
Trying to think about saying that and saying it out loud to our kids. Man, I can't do this yet, but I'm going to work at it and I'm going to get there.
It's hard because we really verbally abuse ourselves as parents. Like we call ourselves, we're such bad moms. I mean, how often do you hear that from people? I'm such a bad mom.
I think there's a couple of movies about that too.
Yeah. But really, it's like if we're not perfect, we tell ourselves that we're no good. And that's not the case at all. That's the fixed mindset talking.
Right. I would venture to say I'm a better mom than I was when my kids were first born.
Oh, yeah. Because
I have learned.
Learning and like putting that into action. And we also see what works and doesn't work.
Right. And you know what? And I will use this as a perfect example. Even though my background is in early childhood, I did it before I had my kids. So I have a lot of background in that area. Like I just mentioned before from my own experience, when my kids were younger, I was taking on too much. I felt like it was my job to control everything. I had a fixed mindset about what my kids were capable of doing. But since I've learned more and actually implemented more of the growth mindset and also gave that information to my kids, that you can grow, you can learn more, you're going to know more. It has extremely changed their ability to handle things on their own. They can do so much more.
Yeah.
And I love it. Like you see it and you just want to be like, I want to hug you. You're
And
so
your
awesome.
heart bursts with joy because you see your kids handling things on their own that before they really, really struggled with. But it was because of the struggle that they can now do it on their own. Like the struggle is necessary.
Right. And growth mindset it's a lifelong thing, but it doesn't take a lifelong to see its positive effects.
No, it doesn't. You can probably see its positive effects immediately just knowing about the two different mindsets, because kids could check themselves and they'd be like, oh, wait, is this the growth mindset right now? Or is this just a fixed mindset? Is this just a story I'm telling myself that's not true?
There was a study that you've quoted before about a group of students that were told about growth mindset.
It was in the book,
Okay,
Mindset
all right.
by Carol Dweck. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
They like separated out a middle school class and they taught them each individually, like these two groups, same subject material, but one group they told about the fixed and growth mindset and the other group they told nothing to. And at the end of the 6 weeks, the group that knew about the growth mindset actually scored better than the group that did not, like significantly better.
Man, the power of the mind.
It is mine, because we all tell ourselves stories that aren't true, and these stories hold us back. And right now, the stories that you're telling yourself about your kids' homework, how they cannot focus unless they have your constant supervision, it is a story. It is really a story. And how like they can't do their homework without their teacher providing exact step-by-step instructions, that is a story as well. Because the struggle is where the growth happens.
Right.
And when your kids are struggling, it does not mean somebody did something wrong or that you did something wrong. It does not mean that you did something wrong. Like you have not done anything wrong if they are struggling.
Yeah, they should be struggling.
They should be struggling.
There needs to be a struggle.
It's expected. And once they get through the struggle, they're going to have this brand new skill and they're going to be able to do things more on their own. But they really have to believe it. And they have to trust in themselves. And that's where mindset is so important. The next area is organization. I mean, how many times have you gone through the house for 20 minutes looking for a number 2 pencil so your kids can do their homework?
Or you find it and it's broken.
It's broken
You find
and there's no
one.
pencil sharpener.
Yeah, you find another one and it's got the pencil, but it has no eraser.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You need things.
Yeah. So there are 2 things there. I did this too. I did this with my daughter. I looked all through the house for a number 2 pencil and I was, why am I looking for a pencil? Like, this is not my homework. This is not my responsibility.
True.
And as many times as I would supply a pencil, guess what? The next day, the pencil would be gone again.
Right.
Because I wasn't using the pencil. I wasn't responsible for putting away. It was my daughter, but she wasn't responsible for putting away either, because guess what? Mom was going to find her a brand new pencil the next day if she lost it.
Exactly. It's funny how moms, like, what is that thing? It's like, it's almost like Find My iPhone type thing.
Yeah.
Like you have these little remotes you can put on things and you hit the button and it goes beep, beep, beep. I swear to Lord, moms are the living embodiment of those beep, beep, beep.
Just looking for, and it's the kids' responsibility to keep their organization and their supplies together. But you're like, okay, I hear that. But then I try to make it happen and they can't find anything. They can't do their homework. They like end up in a crying mess. Like, what do I do then?
Right. So what do you do when you've got a kindergartner that can't find anything?
We're hitting that time of year where my brain gets so overloaded in December that I look for anything to make life easier. And I have to say, Brie, that Green Chef is one of those services.
Yes. Green Chef is there to take away the dreaded, oh my goodness, what are we going to eat for dinner tonight? You can eat clean all holiday long with over 80 weekly meal options each week featuring things like quick and easy, protein-packed, calorie-smart, or my personal favorite, the keto options.
And you don't have to lose track of healthy eating habits during the holidays because every Green Chef customer gets a free session with one of their registered dietitians who can walk you through how to make clean eating work for you, which is very cool.
And I have to say that I have been loving their recipes lately. They put things together I have never thought of. This week, we're trying the lemon basil caper pork with sauteed cauliflower, bell peppers, almonds, and feta cheese, my favorite. Their recipes make it so easy to support my wellness goals without skipping on flavor.
For Green Chef's best deal of the year, get $250 off with code NGM250 at greenchef.com/NGM250. That's greenchef.com/NGM250. And don't forget to use that code NGM250 to get $250 off.
Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for eating well.
My son is playing a game right now on his computer where he's a thief and the cops are after him. So I'm so excited about this new app, Give As We Grow, where instead of being the quote unquote bad guys, kids are practicing giving back.
That is so cool, Joanne. I really wish that there was something like this when my kids were younger that got them excited about giving back to others and helped them build a better understanding of what it really means to volunteer.
Give As We Grow is the first of its kind free educational mobile app for children ages 8 to 11 that teaches kids via fun, service-focused minigame quests to tap into their unique talents and interests to help others.
And did you know that studies show that there is a biological connection between generosity and happiness, and that volunteering improves people's physical and mental health? I mean, kids who volunteer typically do better in school and are less likely to engage in risky behaviors. And that is something that I think we all want for our kids.
Ready to spark a new movement in generosity? Find and download Give As We Grow for free in the App Store for Android and iOS. And for resources for the whole family, visit giveaswegrow.org. So what we did is we went to Target and we bought like a cute little supply box. She picked it out. It was like pink. Everything's pink. She picked it out. And then we came home and I'm like, okay, what do you usually need for your homework? And she was able to tell me. She's like, oh, I need like a pencil. I need some colored pencils. I need some scissors. I need an eraser. We bought all that stuff from Target. And then I typed up a little list that we posted right to the lid of the supply box. And so every day she needed to check off with her little dry erase marker that each of those supplies was back in the supply box. And that was my job at the end of homework. I'm like, okay, did you check your list? That was it.
All you did is walk her through the prompts. She did all the actions
process
herself.
Yeah. And that was probably a week. And then after a week, she just kept putting the stuff back in the box and back in the box.
She learned a new skill?
Yes. And she didn't keep with that checklist forever. It's not like today, my daughter, who's now a 7th grader, goes through and she's like, oh, I have this. Nope, she doesn't do that. But she is conscious of where she puts her supplies.
Right. And she knows where to find them.
She knows where to find them because she knows it is her responsibility. It is not my responsibility to put them away. And so that is a big thing. Organization, kids keep track of their own supplies. You just kind of give them a structure at first to go off of.
Right. And I think that a big key there too on getting the buy-in with that is that you gave your kid choices.
Oh yeah.
Pick out the box.
She got a pretty box.
Pick out what you want to put in the box.
Oh my gosh. And my daughter she loves office supplies as much as I love office supplies. So like going into Target and being like, ooh, look at these pens and look at this one and look at so she really likes all that stuff. And my son to some extent too. Like when we went through the process with him, he picked out like a cool like monster pencil box.
I know. I like his pencil box. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So have them keep track of their own supplies and you will see that you are no longer searching the house for all the supplies anymore. It is their job.
So we have mindset, we have organization. What's next?
Motivation.
So
going back to that mindset of, it's all the parents' responsibility that kids do their homework, which is just a story. It's just a story. It's not a true story.
I know. We need to let go of that.
It is not a true story. It is not your responsibility to do for your kids' homework.
We release you.
We release you. I like read stuff online all the time and I like bang my head against my desk because I see stuff like, oh yeah, I just did all my 5th graders math homework. And I'm like, why did you do all your 5th graders math homework?
That's really going to help him out when he has his test.
Yeah. It's like, don't do your 5th graders math homework. Because honestly, teachers don't care if the homework is done if the student did not do the homework. Like it really, like, teachers would just look at you and be like, why? Why did you do that? It doesn't help them. It doesn't help the teachers because the teachers don't know where the kids are still struggling because they bring back this perfect homework. They're like, everybody's good.
Right.
Yes. So if you feel like it's your job to motivate your kids to finish doing homework, it's just a story. It's just a story. It was a story I was telling myself too at the beginning. It was a story Bree
I was telling myself. Yep.
It's just a story. You do not need to motivate them to finish their homework. If they don't finish their homework's not done. That's it. There's no crushing blow coming down and going to smite you for being a bad parent whose kid does not finish their homework.
Believe it or not, the teachers will not be in the teacher's lounge that afternoon
Being
having
like,
their coffee, talking about you.
I can't believe Bree did not make her daughter finish her homework. That conversation does not happen. It doesn't happen. And I know that also there's this fear that all the other parents judge you and that it's so easy in other families' households. And why isn't it easy in yours? And you might be feeling that, oh my gosh, I'm all alone and this is it. Like, I'm just a failure. I'm a failure as a parent.
But you're not alone.
But you're not alone. And
so many of us secretly hide that guilt with us.
And if you are in that kind of judgy society where everyone's like, well, my child did this and my child, guess what? They're lying.
I know, right?
Because any judgy society like that, they are covering up something big. Like, there is no.
Okay, well, you know what? I'll even say, like, so we have our group of mom friends, and if I'm reflecting back to elementary, because again, that's where we had more of our homework struggles, I would say that my kids did their homework well. But in reality, there were plenty of days where we had struggles.
Yeah.
Plenty of them.
Plenty.
But it's just not but I'm thinking to myself, well, yeah, overall they did well.
Yeah.
And so that's exactly the point of like what you're saying. Like I was covering up, not purposefully in that situation. Mm-hmm. I just wasn't thinking about the times that they had struggles. Or I felt like, oh yeah, well, we had struggles last year, but we're past that. Yeah. And you know what? Maybe the friend I'm talking to, their kid is a year behind.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're in the spot where they need more help. And it's a bumpy road when you first start it.
It is.
When you're not quite sure what to do. But you know what? That's why we're here. That's why we're helping you guys, man.
We're here. And I know that you don't like it when I tell people that the judgy people are lying because you're like, maybe they're not lying. Maybe they're not lying.
But you're right. No, but some are. Some are like, I'm going to give you this really happy, rosy picture because that's what I want people to think.
Well, yeah. So there are some things like that. And there are also like people who it's a lie of omission, but not like conscious thing. It's we're okay right now, but not mentioning the struggle that you went through to get to the okay right now.
Exactly.
Because there is always a struggle. Now, the good thing about this is that when we're all open with our struggles, and if you try like all the things and you've tried the organization and things are happening and you think maybe there's something else going on, that is when you could talk to the teacher and tell them exactly what's happening at home. There are other reasons that kids don't do homework fast or don't focus. It could be that, mindset could be an issue, which I believe it is an issue for many kids, but there could also be other issues. Like maybe they just need a little more help in reading and support at that stage in the game.
Yeah.
And that's a good time to bring that up with the teacher and say that. But also, like, I feel like we need to take the stigma away from kids struggling in homework. It is okay to struggle in homework, but it is not okay to accept that as your reality and to think that it always has to be that way, because it does not, and it is possible to change it. It is possible to have your kids be self-motivated throughout homework. We have a course here at No Guilt Mom called Homework 911, which takes kids through all of these steps. And the kids who go through this program, parents start the program and their kids are refusing to do homework. They're crying. Mm-hmm. They're like on the floor. And it's this like mind shift the kids go through where all of a sudden they're like, my homework's done. I just did it.
Yeah, I have choices. I can take control of this. And they do. They step
do it.
up.
They step up big. The stories that parents tell us from the course, I'm like, wow. Like
You're like, I knew these were effective, but to
I knew-
actually hear it and see it, it's moving.
it is.
It's moving.
It is. It can change in your home. But first, you really need to believe it's possible, because if you don't believe it's possible, it won't happen. Because every step along the way, your mind is going to throw curveballs at you that are going to
Self-sabotage.
self-sabotage. Exactly. It's going to prevent you from taking the steps necessary to then get over the hurdle you're currently in. So you need to believe it's possible. And then second, check these 3 areas: the mindset, the organization, and the motivation, knowing that it is not your job. It is not your job to motivate your kids to finish homework.
And I'm going to throw this out there. I feel like and this happened in our household, and I know I'm not alone because I've talked to lots of people. So when my kids shifted from the elementary to the junior high set, they struggled a lot that year. And you know what a lot of it had to do with? Organization and mindset.
Yes.
They kind of took like a step back. They knew it in elementary, but coming into junior high, middle school, it threw them for a loop.
It was a new challenge.
Right. So
Same thing happened in our house.
right. And
Yeah.
that's where actually we also have homework mastery.
Homework mastery, which teaches the skills to middle schoolers about organization and mindset and note taking.
Right. It
And
gives them the
planning.
tools.
Yeah, long-term planning. So those are actually coming up. They're going to be available really soon. February 1st, Homework 911 Homework Mastery opens for the week. It's open for a week, and then we shut it down again just so we can focus on everyone in the program.
Whoop, whoop, to opening.
Woo woo! So right now, your next steps. If you're struggling with your homework, make sure you sign up for Homework Simplified. That is our free parent program. You're going to want to be in there because Brie and I do these live video sessions where we have dance parties.
Oh, we're just fun. We're
It's
just fun people.
Fun. And we do live Q&As as well. So any struggle that you're having in homework, we are there to help you right there. So please come, because we would love to meet you as well. You know, be online friends.
Come join our Facebook world.
Come join us. And then keep an eye out for Homework 911 Homework Masteries opening in February, which it's just, I hesitate using this word, but it really is. It's a life-changing course for
Oh
families.
my God, that's the exact same
is.
thing I was thinking.
Yes.
Just wow.
Just the stories we have from people whose kids have had the course, it is life-changing because it's completely changes the dynamic in their home. They're no longer fighting with their kids about homework. They get to actually enjoy their children after school. So it's big.
Yeah. And you get your evenings back.
You get your
That's a
evenings
huge
back.
thing. They're not dominated by homework hell.
Nope. So until next time, remember, the best mom is a happy mom. Take care of you, and we'll talk to you later.
Thanks for stopping by. Are you looking for something to listen to with your whole family? Then check out 6 Minutes, produced and created by Gen Z Media. With over 200 twisty, cliffhanger-filled episodes, 6 Minutes tells the story of 11-year-old Holiday, who was pulled from the icy waters with no memory of who she is or where she came from.
3 years ago, Brinley Pasternak helped the Anders family uncover the truth about Holiday's past. Now she'll need them to help her find the truth about hers. In 6 Minutes Out of Time, the long-awaited sequel, Cyrus Anders is found unconscious near the mysterious Elixir Academy in Florida, and Brinley learns the school may have a shocking connection to her missing mother.
Dive in now and get the most downloaded family audio adventure in history. Follow 6 Minutes wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen early and ad-free with the GZM family subscription.